The hottest free agent on the market is Mr. Tee Higgins. Every single team is going to be eyeing him, especially teams that are wide receiver needy. And guess what? That is the New England Patriots through and through. We're going to give you guys the latest update on Tee Higgins' free agency destinations. And does he want to come to the Patriots? And do the Patriots want Tee Higgins? We'll break that down here in just a moment. First things first. Other than Tee Higgins, I want you guys to go on ahead and name a top wide receiver free agent. There are a lot of guys out there, a Chris Godwin, and Amari Cooper, DeAndre Hopkins. If we can't get Tee Higgins, because take it back last year, we didn't obtain a top wide receiver in free agency last year, who would you want to get? And there's a reason why you should name another player right now. Unfortunately, we did get some upsetting news in free agency about possibly having Tee Higgins in a New England Patriots uniform this year. There is a report that came out that it's not looking too great for Tee Higgins to become a New England Patriot. That's why it is breaking our hearts. Breaking down the latest report here from Albert Breer, NFL Insider. He said, here's the thing. They offered Brandon Aiyuk a better deal than Pittsburgh last offseason. They offered Aiyuk a better deal than Cleveland did last offseason. And if I remember right, again, I don't have it in front of me. I know we talked about this before. I don't think it was a $32 million on a 4-year deal, or he had a choice. Or $30 million per year, and maybe it was on a 3-year deal. From Albert Breer, it just sounds like money may not be the end-all, be-all to snag a guy like Tee Higgins. And this has been proven to us in the past. Last offseason, we had 3 swings and misses. We tried to get Calvin Ridley. We offered him out the wazoo, and he decided to go with the Titans, who now have the first pick in the NFL draft, so they were somehow worse than New England this year. Then you tried with Deebo Samuel. He re-signed with the 49ers. And then you tried with Brandon Aiyuk, and it was the exact same thing. And as Albert Breer reminded us, we offered Brandon Aiyuk the most money in free agency, and he still went back to San Francisco. This could be an exact replica of what happens with Tee Higgins. He still has the option to re-sign with the Cincinnati Bengals, despite the amount of money New England can offer him. So now that you do have a little bit of inside perspective as to money isn't everything to some of these guys. Some want a Super Bowl, like a Myles Garrett. An NFL Insider does predict that Tee Higgins is going to want the full package when it comes to money. They say he could sign a 4-year deal worth $114 million with $70 million guaranteed. I think he's personally worth that money, but sheesh, that is a lot of money that you could possibly try to package with Higgins. And then you still have to go out and get offensive linemen, defensive linemen, secondary players, even a wide receiver too, unless you want to have Tee Higgins and Demario Douglas. If you are a defender in the NFL, who do you think they're going to throw to? It's going to be very easy to pick apart. A reason why Tee Higgins is such a lethal weapon is because you have Jamar Chase playing right next to him, which Cincinnati may still want to keep around. And breaking down here a little bit more, Alex Ballantyne from Bleacher Report says a Tee Higgins tag and trade would be the ideal scenario for the Patriots. Not just a free agent mishap, but they can maybe try to work it around so that they can obtain him regardless. So if he does end up hitting free agency, you can try and work out this fantastic deal, offer him the moon and the sun the same way you did to Aiyuk, and Higgins may still not sign. But if you do a tag and trade, maybe that does secure a little bit more of a promise to bring Higgins to New England. So here is what the Bleacher Report trade would look like. If you ended up trading for Tee Higgins, you would give up your pick number 38, which is your second pick in the NFL draft, and you would give pick number 145 overall, which is your 5th round draft pick this year. And I could see Cincinnati, who, struggled this year as well, trying to rebuild, trying to give some other assets to their growing quarterback in Joe Burrow. Maybe they would listen to this type of trade. So if we don't end up getting Tee Higgins in free agency, there could possibly be another way. But I will say this. I do like Tee Higgins. There is no doubt he is the top talent in free agency. But with a growing program like the Patriots, I don't know if it's worth giving up future assets for Tee Higgins right now. Should the Patriots trade for Tee Higgins? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Obviously, this would be a different route they could possibly take if free agency doesn't work out. But we're going to break down here coming up. The Patriots did make a wide receiver coaching hire that could be a little bit more of a help to grab some top talent in the passing game this season. Before I break that down, let me go ahead and tell you guys real quick about our sponsor on today's show, and that is Game Time. This is the number one way I get tickets to any sporting event, concert, comedy show, or maybe even the theater. I recently just took my parents to an NHL game, and I use Game Time because I actually love the feature called Game Time Picks. All you have to do is click Game Time Picks while you're looking for tickets, and this will give you guys the best deal and the lowest price guaranteed. That way you don't have to spend time searching through thousands and thousands of tickets. Doesn't have to be NHL. The Boston Celtics are right down the road, and hey, don't look now, but they are on a 4-game win streak. So if you guys want to go see the Celtics play, or the Bruins, or the Red Sox, season is starting very, very soon. You guys can go on ahead, snag your tickets, use Game Time Picks. You can see the feature at the top of your screen right there, and that way you guys can get the best deal, the lowest price guaranteed. And another feature I love is that you can see the view from your seat in the app before you buy. A nice little 180 panoramic view. Make sure you love the view. That way you don't have to spend your money on a ticket you don't really want, or maybe a seat that's too close to the men's restroom. So all you guys have to do is download the Game Time app, use promo code CHATSPORTS. This will give you guys $20 off your first time buying tickets while terms apply. Again, use Game Time, download the app, create an account, use promo code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first time buying tickets while terms apply. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It is game time. Todd Downing, you are the next wide receiver coach for the New England Patriots. This game is a bit of a surprise to me, although Todd did have some connection to Vrabel in Tennessee over the course of 3 seasons. So we know that with Vrabel, he has hired plenty of help that he has previously worked with in Tennessee. The only one that he hasn't actually worked with on a coaching staff is Josh McDaniels. But, of course, Vrabel played for New England while McDaniels was starting out his coaching experience for the Patriots. But Todd Downing came as a little bit of a surprise here just because there were other options on the market that I personally thought Mike Vrabel would choose over somebody like Todd Downing. And if you want to know a little bit more here on the new wide receiver coach for the Patriots, he was a former passing game coordinator for the New York Jets as well as a quarterback coach. And there was an opportunity to sign Wes Welker or hire Wes Welker, which is why I thought they were going to try and bring back a former Patriot and arguably one of the best wide receivers the Patriots have seen over the last few decades. But he did coach with Mike Vrabel in 2019 and 2022, not as a wide receivers coach, but in some form or fashion on the personnel, and he recently did coach for the New York Jets. So now that Downing is going to be taking care of the pass catchers, it's not the flashiest name on the market, and really not even having that wide receiver coach with another team. For instance, if maybe he was a wide receiver coach in Cincinnati and we poached him from the Bengals, maybe you could bring along somebody like a Tee Higgins. But now that you've got a guy that's never been a wide receiver coach in his life, I am a little bit nervous that we are going back down the path of an Alex Van Pelt and DeMarcus Covington. He's a first-time wide receiver coach, but he has over 25 years of coaching experience. This makes me think there is a bit of a difference in the AVP and Covington and Gerard Mayo era because he has learned so many roles, and it is a true building block type of resume. He just kept getting promoted year in and year out because he kept developing. Gives me hope. And Greg Bedard actually did talk a little bit about the hiring process and why they ended up not going with Wes, is because he said Vrabel wasn't even involved in the interview. Vrabel wanted to make sure that if Todd Downing was going to be hired, that McDaniels really wanted him. Obviously, the offensive coordinator. From what I understand, that is true. McDaniels really, really, really wanted him. Really liked him. McDaniels, he didn't even need a former receivers coach. He just wanted a really good coach. And with 25 years of experience, that is what you're getting with Downing as your new pass catchers coach. I'm hoping that New England brings in assistant wide receivers coach that can help with more of the technical aspect of the position, but it's refreshing to hear McDaniels a positive outlook on Downing. And with being with the Jets, we knew that he did have a hand in the play calling, which isn't something I want to bring up because the Jets were sucked this year. And I can say that because the Patriots were arguably a little bit worse. I don't think that Downing is going to be in charge of play calling for New England, but it is good to know that he understands how an offense works and how an offense should work. You pair that with a mind like Josh McDaniels, you bring in a couple of pass catchers, you've already got your quarterback, you should have a solid package with the personnel moving forward on the offensive side of the football. My final question for you guys here is, how happy are you with Todd Downing? I know a lot of you guys wanted to bring back Wes because, of course, he played for New England for so many years. So give me a scale of 1 to 10. 1 as in you're not going to watch a single game this year because we just hired Downing, or 10 as in I have the utmost faith in him. I think this is going to be a good move. Lastly, go on ahead, hit that sub button for me if you guys haven't already. If we do end up getting Tee Higgins, I'll talk about it right here on Patriots Today by Chat Sports. So if you guys want to go on ahead, hit that sub button for me if you haven't already, and join over 20,000 Patriots fans right here.